I'm Jeff Ludy with Houston Window Experts. Thank you so much for watching this video. Today we're going to talk about how to properly replace a hinged door. I've got Jeremy Devereaux here. He's our production manager. And Jeremy, thanks for your help today. He's also the fish whisperer. He is quite the fisherman. I think you can learn from him how to fish, but even more importantly, how to replace the door. So today we're going to pull this door out. Now that we already know, we have the right door because we measured that. We got it a few months ago. Here it is.
And the right swing.
The right swing, right. Now it's about taking this door out and putting the new one in. So what's the first thing you do when you get ready to take a door out?
So after you verified the size, you know everything's right. So this is called brick molding. Okay. And it needs to come off. And behind there you can actually see the frame of the house and the door frame. That door frame's a little bit wider, about like that. But this has to come off, and then you can see the screws or the nails or whatever they used, and you can cut through those. Interior casings on the inside, same thing. Take that off, and then you can run a sawzall around it. And
so the first thing we need to do is just take this part off. Yes. And I think it's probably important to point out that this is not your door.
Right.
Your door is back here.
Exactly.
And this just covers that. That's what they call a brick mold because it kind of spans the gap between the door and the brick. Correct?
Exactly. Yeah, and sometimes there's two or three. They only needed one to get to the thickness of where they wanted the brick
to come out.
Sometimes the brick's here, so they'll have a stair step of a 1x4 first, and then brick mold on top of that. So they're just getting thicker to get to the brick.
To cover the brick. Right. Okay. So let's take that trim off and see what's behind here.
Okay.
So you can see how Jeremy's using this. This is called a 5-in-1 tool, or you could maybe even use a putty knife. He scored all the edges with the blade, just to try to keep that paint from pulling with the trim when we pull the trim off, because we don't want to have to do much work afterwards if we don't have to. And then just like that, you take off the inside trim boards, you get off the outside trim boards, and actually when you're all said and done, you can almost sometimes see daylight coming between the two. So this is looking good. Okay, you can see how Jeremy got the trim off. In fact, you can see the daylight coming through there, right, Jeremy? They didn't do much at all for insulating the store. There's
no insulation, no foam. You can just see right through there.
Like a neighbor's cat can nearly fit through that thing. Okay, so what's next?
So next, I'm just going to take the panel off just to make it easier for me.
Okay.
I'm doing it by myself so it gets lighter. So I'm going to unscrew, and I started here. Unscrew these. I found one that was a different head. I probably have that in the truck, but I was going to cut around it anyway, so I'll just take my sawzall, cut through that screw, and then finish unscrewing this, take it out. Then I'll cut all the way around the frame and completely take the frame out and
all right.
Prep the opening.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right.
And by the way, while he's doing that, I want to mention to you that if you have any alarm wires or anything like that that are a part of your door, now would be the time to make sure that you're going to go ahead and disconnect those, or if you're doing it yourself, right? Like get the wire out of there, save it, salvage it. Make sure you don't end up damaging that wire because it can make a problem for you later. Wow, that wasn't too bad, Jeremy.
Pretty good. Okay, I'm going to get this out of the way.
Okay. So while Jeremy's working on this, I thought I should mention that if you're looking for a window company and we could be of help to you, please check out thewindowexperts.com. There you'll find more information about how we can help you, or we can point you to one of our partners all over the country of great window companies that do a terrific job. Yay, success. So what are we seeing here? Ah, there was some glue under there.
Yeah, so they did put some stuff under there. And that's what was holding it down because there's no anchors down into the concrete.
Okay, I see. Okay, so Jeremy, you got the store out. I saw you clean and chip away. There was concrete stuff on the bottom. Now we did discover that there's the next step, which is to protect us. And as we took it off, you pointed out to me down here at the bottom. What happened down there?
Yeah, I see that brick mold was rotting. So every time it was raining and splashing, like we talked about, it was absorbing some water there. And we want to most people don't protect this when they build it, but now that we have the opportunity to do so, we want to protect it.
Okay. So most people don't even bother flashing the door when it goes back in, right? But tell our audience what we do at Houston Window Experts. Maybe it's a little different than what most people do by flashing.
So most people do put caulking on the bottom down here to seal the door, which is important. We're going to do that. But the extra step we take is we don't want stuff like this to happen again. So we're going to wrap our tape around like this and just protect it. And it'll be sealed here, and then we'll seal our brick mold. But if the brick mold failed or the caulk bead failed 20, 30 years down the road, we're protecting the house.
So this is this big roll. This is like, what, 6 inches, I think?
I believe it is.
And it's peel and stick, and it's actually very pliable. You can actually bend it and form it, shape it around that. And this is self-healing too. So as we put screws and stuff through here, it will actually start to heal itself back up around that area. So that's pretty cool. So, okay, so you're going to do that on all perimeters, put a couple of beads on the bottom, and then it's time for the door to go in, right?
Correct.
All right. So while Jeremy's finishing putting the flashing on that, I thought I'd show you the door we're putting in. This is a door made by a company called Provia, and I'm going to put a link down below and a little tab up here at the top. We actually made a great video about comparing this door to like the kind of door you'd get at the big box stores and why a door like this costs more. It's a really cool video. I thought you should watch it. One of the things I mentioned in that video is I talk about the security plate that's on these doors. And I thought since the door hasn't gone in yet, this is a great time for me to show it to you. If you notice right here, here's a flat piece of steel, a heavy gauge steel, that actually goes right against the reinforcement part of where the deadbolt is going to go in. Once the deadbolt's in here, you see the deadbolt will come actually through this hole, and the latch comes back into this part. So the deadbolt, you notice, actually goes into this plate, and this plate now helps spread some of that force. If someone's trying to enter this door or kick this door in, helps spread that force across a wider area. And that way it helps make this door be more secure, more difficult for someone to break in, which is pretty cool. Another thing I wanted to point out about the door too is, and by the way, this is just a real simple, smooth door, right? We're working in the garage here, but they got all kinds of designs. It's really cool. Is that this is all composite. If you notice, all the way down to the very bottom, this is a 100% composite frame. So unlike the one that we pulled out of there, where down at the bottom you saw it got wet, if this ever did get wet behind there, it's not going to go anywhere. In fact, we could throw this door in his swimming pool for a year and pull it out, and that would still be there. So, not that anyone would do that, but you get my point. All right, let's go check on Jeremy and see what he's up to. Okay, so Jeremy got this door in, and one of the things we wanted to point out to you is the question gets asked all the time, Jeremy, where do I put my door as far as depth, right? Like, do I want to come? Do I go out? Do I go in? What's the best way to do that?
So the goal is to get it as flat as you can with your sheetrock, so your casing just goes right on top and sits on top of both. The problem is the wall has to be plumb because the door has to be plumb.
Right.
If the door's not plumb, it may ghost on you and it may not shut right. So when you put your level on the wall, you can see that this one is quite a bit out.
Oh wow, that is off.
So in order, I'm not going to be able to properly match my door to this sheetrock because I'll have to move this corner in. When you install the door, you need level, you need plumb, and you need it to be square, and you need true as well. Mm-hmm. Not everybody knows what true is, but you think of a cross, it can't be pivoting.
Okay.
You know, like if this one, if you try to match the wall, whatever that is, the other side has to be perfect on that same plane,
right? Or
else the panel gets.
It's going to be So if we notice earlier, I noticed how this door is ghosting. If you get it to about right here, I'm just talking about if it matches the sheetrock.
Right.
We call that ghosting. We see how the door continues to open like a ghost did it, and that's because our first pass, just getting it in to go where we're flush with the sheetrock here, means now the wall's telling us, well, yeah, if you want to look pretty or do you want to work right, which of the two would you prefer? So we're going to want it to work right. Obviously, we don't want it to leak, and we want it to operate and open easily and close securely. Okay, Jeremy, this is looking really good. A couple of things I can see right away that you did. I see you've got your shims, like every so often you've got shims coming through here. And these are the composite shims, right? Why is that important?
Well, the composite won't rot through time. Even though we're doing all this waterproofing, it's just, if you have the best product, might as well use it, right? And
I also noticed too that you've got really good straight reveal lines. Like right here, this reveal line is the same as it is on that side and as it is on the top. So that takes skill and patience, doesn't it?
It does. It takes time, and you can't just put screws where the hinges are and achieve that. You still have to shim and just One at a time, you step back, make sure it's good. Next shim, and just keep checking the door.
And like I mentioned earlier, one of the benefits to this door is that it actually has a composite frame around it, the jamb. But the negative to that is it's not like a steel door jamb or an aluminum rigid frame. This is going to flex as you go to put screws in. So if you don't support it from behind, you're going to end up pulling it in or pushing it out. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. So you were going to say something about how it looks like there's more light, bigger gap over here on the side. You want to tell us about that?
And there definitely is. Over here, there's 1/4 inch, 3/8. Over here, that's a solid 3/4 probably. It looks bigger. Daylight makes it look so much bigger, right? So we stuck it in the hole and we measured to the outside because when they installed this door originally, that's where they put it. They could have split the difference better, but they didn't. But the brick guy matched their door. So right now, I don't want to split the difference in this opening because outside I'll have a little piece of trim and then a big piece of trim on the other side.
Right.
You'll never see this after we foam it, case it out outside, so all the trim is the same size like it should be.
Okay. So what are you going to do next? What's this?
We got the low expansion foam, and we're going to seal all the way around the door, inside and out. Get it nice, weather tight.
So basically, we're creating kind of like this box of foam, right? All the way around the perimeter. That's going to seal the door to the flashing to the house.
Right. And
now no water is going to get through. And that also keeps dust and bugs and dirt or anything else that might work away behind there back in.
And it's very strong too.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Taking that, you need a saw to get that stuff out, don't you?
That's right. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll let you do that. We're going to watch, see how it goes. The next thing we're going to do, and I'm going to talk about it real quick because I'm better at talking and Jeremy's better at doing. And then we're going to watch him put it in. A couple of things that came with this door, and this is, I don't see this with every brand, but Provia does this. It's a few pieces here. This is your strike plate, right? This is what you're going to put on your deadbolt like this. And that's going to get screwed in right there, and the deadbolt is going to go through that and back into that cavity there. But if you notice, this comes with what's called a little dust box. And the little dust box goes in first. What I like about that is you don't see the foam back there. Plus, it keeps the dust or any dirt or anything from coming through. Then the strike plate goes over that. If you notice too, it's slotted, right? So I can adjust it back and forth to accommodate where exactly my deadbolt is going to land. So it gives me really good, precise connection. Now, down here below that, this is where your actual doorknob handle, right? Where that little piston is going to go in. And most of the time, you'll end up drilling a couple of holes. You'll put this on. And then what if you go to close the door and you realize, oh, you know what? It's too tight to close. I got to bump that out a little bit, like to here. Well, that's a problem now because now you're wallowing out this door. You just made a hole. Now you're having to make another set of holes. So what they invented, or somebody invented, was instead we have this ratcheting. Hope you can see the little teeth on there. We have this little ratcheting multi-position plate that goes in here first, and that goes in there. And if you notice, it's also oval, right? So it can slide back and forth. So then this becomes more like a beauty cap. So this is just a cap that stays in position to make it look beautiful. And then you can adjust the actual stopping point of the door, the catch point, back and forth to be exactly where you want it. So let's say that I put this door in, and I think it's really great, but then a homeowner calls tomorrow and the homeowner says, well, my 4-year-old can't close that door. He has to really slam it with his body because the weather stripping is really resisting to him. No big deal. Instead of having to pull it out and drill all new holes and put more screws in and wallow that out, all we do is loosen it up and then slide that plate into position where we want it, cinch it back down, and voila.
Okay, I'll get that in, and now I'll close the door and see where I need to adjust.
Okay. What do you think? Does he need to go in a little bit more, or does that feel good?
I think that's the right spot.
You got it right the first time, Jeremy?
I got lucky. See how it has a little bit of play?
Right, because you have the weather stripping is compressing against.
But you want a little bit. If you have to push really hard when temperature changes things next summer or whatever, it might be too tight.
Also, what I like about it is right now the weather stripping is fresh, right? It has not been compressed by the door. So it's going to be a little more resistant, right? So maybe in a month or two, we'll come back out if we need to go ahead and put it in one more click perhaps, because the weather stripping will begin to start to get compressed.
Exactly. Well, let me tighten those screws up because I didn't go all the way in. So
okay.
Now that I know that's the right spot.
Okay, let's try it.
Oh, okay, wait a minute, close it. Listen to this, guys, listen to this. Easy breezy. Have you ever done it before on the door where you go to do that, you get to about right there, and then you've got to do that little body slam to get it the rest of the way? It's because it's not lined up properly with the strike plating. Good job, Jeremy. And on the first attempt, too.
And even that dust box has a little bit of play, too, like that.
It has that oval cut, so you can slide it to where you want it.
So, yeah, so that's a good thing, too.
And nice thing about it is, come get a look at this. Is when you look at it now, right? Because it's also about how it looks. You don't see a bunch of drum back there. It's a nice, good, clean, perfect professional finish. And I love that.
I do too.
Well, this looks terrific. I'm so happy with how this turned out. Hey, by the way, we would love to earn your business, love to talk to you about your project. Even if you don't live in the Houston area, maybe we can point you in the right direction. Visit thewindowexperts.com. You'll find more information there. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.